Hey, what's going on, everybody? So Aery, A Journey Beyond Time came out February 25th of this year. This is a game from Pixar Games, and it's part of the Aery series, and I played the one from last year, Broken Memories. You get to play as a bird in these games, and you just kind of, fly around and collect feathers. In this one, I believe you're collecting like gems or crystals. And in this one, as the title states, you're kind of flying through time in this one. You start out at the very beginning where there's really nothing at all, and you're hearing this narration, which is kind of telling this story of this journey through time, basically a journey beyond time, I guess. But it is telling the story of kind of just the history of the world, and it's not exactly like a true story of everything that's happened, because some of it is obviously fictional. There's stuff about aliens and the future and stuff like that, and so that stuff is obviously not true, or hasn't happened yet, but it is still telling a pretty cool story while you're going through these levels, which you do go through pretty fast. So it isn't like a ton of narration going on or a ton of like story through this game. A lot of it is just going to be about you flying around and kind of just listening to this music that they chose to have. And I haven't gone back to Broken Memories to figure this out for sure, but there is a pretty good chance, I think, just based on memory, that the music in this game is exactly the same as the ones in that game. And it's kind of played on a loop of these 3 to 4, 5 songs. Maybe they're not all the same, but there is one in particular that sounded really, really familiar. And so there is a chance that it's like the exact same music, and it's just like a different skin on this game, basically. And so just as a game overall, if you haven't played the other ones, if you were just like thinking of getting a game where you can fly around as a bird, if that's something that you're interested in, you see the trailer for this and it looks like something you might want to play at some point, just kind of a relaxing, chill experience. If you haven't played another one, why not jump into this one? It is $10, which I think is a kind of a steep price for something like this, because you're gonna finish it in an hour maximum, and that's even if you like go slow. There was one level where it took me quite a while to get all of the crystals, because it's kind of hidden in this like really crowded downtown area, and it still took me like exactly 1 hour to go through all this. So $10 is a pretty big asking price for something like this. But again, if you are looking for a game where you can just fly around and that sounds appealing to you, maybe you are going to be interested in this even at that price, because you could maybe go back to it again and again. But the one thing that does kind of confuse me about this is the fact that it is so similar to the other one, and a lot of the visuals are the exact same. When you kind of turn too fast, the screen tears quite a bit. I don't know if that's just for me, but I've seen in some other videos too that happens. So that was still there. There was still, again, like I said, the same kind of music that was going on. The narration is kind of interesting, but you can't hear it a lot of the time because the music is so loud, and you can play with that in the settings. Again, like what I said in my review of the last one, is that I thought it had a lot of potential. It wasn't an amazing game, but I thought it did have some potential to be a lot better if they just kind of like changed things up a little bit, maybe made it a little bit more advanced with some of the just what you could do, because it's kind of limited in what you can do. You move pretty slow when you're flying around, and it's like depending on what's around you, it feels like you're going really slow sometimes, and other times it feels like you're going pretty fast, just because the map or the area is really big or it's really small. And so that's kind of cool how it kind of plays with that, like the dimensions of the map in that way. A lot of the visuals, like cars in the maps, or certain maps in this one where it had dinosaurs and stuff like that, they're never moving. It's just very stale. It's not dynamic. They're all just kind of standing there, and the pterodactyls in the sky are just there. I mean, they're not flying or anything. So again, it just doesn't have a real dynamic feeling to it, and that is a little disappointing. This is not the best game to get if you do want to fly around and stuff like that, if that is what you're into. I thought Feather was a much better experience than this one. I do want to try the first one, Little Bird Adventure, to see where this series started and if it's any different at all. I'm sure it probably isn't. I don't want to be too harsh on it. I know nothing about making games, so I'm not gonna criticize them for like doing the same thing again here, because I don't know what their plan is. I don't know what their goal is. I remember seeing somewhere, I believe, that they want to do something that is different than this, so maybe this is just them like trying to figure out how to do that, or maybe it's a financial thing because they know that these games are doing well, so they're just kind of throwing them out there. I'm not gonna say I know what's going on, so I'm just kind of thinking out loud. So that's just where my thoughts went when I was playing this. It's not a bad time, it's not the worst game I've ever played. I would just say probably don't buy more than one of them. You can go through all of the trailers for these 4 games that they've put out, see which one looks most interesting, maybe watch some videos on them, and get the one that you think looks the coolest and the most fun, the one that intrigues you in terms of like the settings. In my opinion, I think Broken Memories, like the maps in that one, the levels in that one were a little bit better than in this one. So, and I'm probably not gonna go and try the other ones again. Maybe Little Bird Adventure, because that is where it started. So yeah, that's really all I got for this one. I think between this series and Feather, there's probably other games out there too where you can fly around and not really have any huge objective or like shooting enemies and stuff like that. I do prefer Feather over this, but I am still interested in this series and what they can do with it if they do take that leap and do something bigger than this. But aside from that, you know, there's not much else to say. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're all having a great day out there. And until the next one, take care, everybody.